before we start, I'd be remiss to not say a few things. I don't want to be redundant and repetitive and say the things that have already been said by thousands of people already, and some of those people who are way more qualified and better suited than I am. I spent the better part of this week watching a lot of reaction videos and videos honoring the late and great Charlie Kirk. And the one thing that I found in common in a lot of them was a lot of people did not know him personally, but they felt like it was a deep and personal loss. My wife and I also experienced this. And without making light of the issue, the only way I could explain it, for those of you who are Star Wars fans will understand, I felt like there was a disturbance in the Force. And that's the only way I could really put any words to it. Charlie Kirk was the best of us. My heart bleeds and aches for his family, his 1-year-old boy, his 3-year-old daughter, and his amazingly beautiful and strong wife. I pray for them, those who knew him, his family, and his friends. Charlie, we love you, and you will be missed. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make a video on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I didn't want it to appear to be disingenuous. I didn't want to just add another video to the pile of content creation, and to be just another video added to the long list of videos talking about Charlie Kirk. And I want this channel to really be only focused on California politics. And that's when it hit me. I have to talk about this. I have to mention it a little bit because California is the epicenter of this hate, of this cancer and disease that is called progressive politics. This hateful leftist rhetoric that permeates throughout this state, from our governor all the way down to the teachers in our schools from K through 12. It infects the entire state. This is the perfect place and time to talk about it. Charlie wanted to be known for being courageous in his faith, and I'll honor him because his faith is also mine. In the Gospels, Matthew chapter 16, verses 17 and 18, when Jesus takes the 12 to Caesarea Philippi, a place in the Old Testament full of degeneracy, evil, unspeakable acts for demonic worship. They called it the gates of hell, loosely translated gates of Hades. It has its own theological interpretations, but I think it's relevant today and relevant here in California. A lot of people dismiss California, say leave, get out while you can, have left, and just ignore the state. Where California goes, the rest of the country goes. If the nation suffers from a cancer, California is the origin, is where the tumor grows and spreads. The verse says, "On this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not withstand it." Jesus took the 12 to the gates of Hades, to the gates of hell, the underworld of death, and the most evil and wicked place in the known world at that time, and said, "I will make my stand here. I will build my church here, and evil will not be able to withstand it." We cannot ignore California anymore. We can't let it fall to its own evil devices. We must face it head on. And if you want to truly make meaningful change in this country, it starts here in California. This is exemplified by none other than our governor, Gavin Newsom, and the other politicians in Sacramento. Their playbook for the last 10 to 30 years has been, it's always the Republicans' fault, regardless of who's in office at the federal level, regardless of who's in charge of the House of Representatives or the Senate, regardless if it's a Democrat supermajority like it has been for the last 30 years, it's always the Republicans' fault. The evil, fascist Republicans. And it has only gotten worse the last 10 years since Donald Trump and now President Trump has come into the scene. It's always his fault. And the authoritarian, supreme leader, dictator, fascist rhetoric has only been exacerbated while the state literally burns with wildfires that are easily preventable, a budget crisis, a housing crisis, a homeless crisis, a crime crisis, an immigration crisis, an affordability crisis in general with gas prices, grocery prices, sales tax. Somehow, It's been the authoritarian fascist Republicans' fault. And the biggest thing that I've noticed, aside from being power hungry, money hungry, completely corrupt, and completely full of what they really care about is the social media clout. That's what it's all about, because that's where people get their news. That's where people get their information. It's not even YouTube. That's too long form content for a lot of these people. TikTok, Instagram Shorts, that's where these people in California get their news and get their information. And that's what these Sacramento politicians all care about. Likes, views, clicks. Say the quick catchphrase. Say the quick little clip that's going to go viral, and so you can get reelected again. And it feeds into this Trump derangement syndrome that plagues this state.
Trump and his cronies, President Trump, Donald Trump.
By a president, our president.
Trump and his allies. Trump's big, ugly bill.
The president.
The authoritarian in the White House. This president.
Donald Trump. Trump mandering and Trump pandering.
Supreme Leader Trump.
President Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. President Trump. His family and his friends. Donald Trump's Trump.
This is violence against women. He may not know that, but when he says things like, I want to protect women whether they like it or not, that is violence against women. Would you want your son to say that to anyone? Would you want your daughter to be told that? Would you want your husband to say that to you, whether you like it or not? Violence against women.
People don't have any intention of saying something that's going to lead to something dangerous, but we cannot take responsibility for the minds that are out there and how they hear it.
You've quoted General Milley calling Donald Trump a fascist. You yourself have not used that word to describe him. Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of in the mouth.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
I said if we were in high school, I'd take you behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I will go and take Trump out tonight. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
And it doesn't stop at the politicians. They're the apex of the problem. They are the ultimate symptom of what's plaguing this state. The education system, if you want to call it that here in California, is plagued by this hateful, brainwashing propaganda, starting with the universities. Universities used to be, at least that's what we're told, were places where people and young minds can come and exchange ideas, learn things, experience different types of people, opinions, cultures, thoughts, to become more of a well-rounded person, to be educated, for lack of better terms. I always get into debates with my in-laws and some friends because I went to college, and I always found myself a little out of place and I couldn't put my finger on it. And then seeing Charlie Kirk and him debating all these college kids, I realized why I didn't fit in. It's because I was conservative minded and I didn't know it at the time. I had a full-time job. I wanted to go to school, get my degree, and get out. But with that being said, being a college grad myself, I find that college is a scam. It is a waste of time and money. 90% of the degrees in college are absolutely worthless. You don't need a degree in entrepreneurship to become an entrepreneur. You don't need a degree for 90% of the administrative jobs. If you know how to use Microsoft Suite, Outlook, Excel, Word, you'll be fine in a lot of jobs. And I always debate my in-laws about college. They tell me you learn critical thinking skills and how to think outside the box, how to analyze and exchange ideas. With that, I say BS. College now doesn't teach you how to think. It teaches you what to think. It doesn't teach you any type of critical thinking or logic. Zero. It creates radicalized, NPC, violent, hateful foot soldiers to destroy the fabric of this country, to destroy everything that is good about this country. They are taught to hate and persecute Christians. They are taught to hate and persecute their political rivals and people with different ideologies. They're not taught to debate or argue peacefully, or even able to articulate why they believe what they believe. They're not even able to articulate their thoughts properly. And it's no wonder our president is pulling money away from our colleges. And these politicians here in California are talking about it being an attack on the educational institutes in California. But it's not it at all. Recently, he pulled $1 billion from UCLA, not because he doesn't like California or the University of California, Los Angeles, but because it spews hateful rhetoric and pushes violence and hate. This is more correlated with anti-Semitism on campus, but my point still stands.
Because I think there are...
Greg, come here. What? Greg, hold on for a second. Charlie Kirk was just shot on a college campus in Utah. Did you see what I just saw? Is it bad? Okay. Charlie Kirk was just shot at his campus in Utah. Why are you laughing? He is my friend. Your first reaction is to Charlie Kirk is a d, and you're smiling, and you laugh that my friend just got shot. You had the audacity to laugh. If you think shooting Charlie Kirk is justified because you disagree with his political opinions, you need to study your heart. Abortion culture has led to a desensitizing of our nation, where we think we can shoot political enemies and we think it's justified. Do you guys think it's justified or a good thing that Trump got shot? Did you guys laugh? Charlie was shot in the neck, by the way. And you're laughing and clapping for it. What you all did, you're laughing. So today when we were setting up, someone said, "F those babies, kill them all." That's what, and you laughed again.
Charlie Kirk.
Yes, and why do you say that?
I don't know. She was like a
Don't you think that if you're going to, attack a guy like that, you should probably have some instances of things that he said that are offensive or that are racist or anything like that?
Comrades.
And what did they do that's fascist and that's racist?
Well, they are very supportive of white supremacist Donald Trump.
These people shouldn't be allowed to live.
I believe any Trump supporter is officially a fascist because he is a traitor at this point.
What did they say that's hateful and racist?
These clips aren't specifically from California, but this is every single college campus throughout the United States. And the infection of the woke mind virus is particularly bad in the universities and colleges throughout California. And California's media is no better. I'm sure everyone saw the clip from TMZ, where practically their entire newsroom was cheering on the news of Charlie Kirk's passing. But just in case, we'll roll the clip.
Possibly in the next 20 minutes. The news conference is scheduled for 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. Janet, go to have somebody look at the Fox. Trump just posted that Charlie Kirk is dead.
The excuse TMZ gave was these people were cheering on a car chase that was happening at the same time. But Valuetainment and PBD Podcasts actually showed the car chase coverage. And in the middle of the car chase, they announced the passing of Charlie Kirk.
They're saying a car chase.
Okay.
This is the car chase. Let us just show you, and you tell me if you believe them. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, let's find it.
Tell me if this is the kind of a car chase that you would celebrate and scream. Tell me if it's that euphoric. Go ahead, Rob.
We're showing you right there on the banner below. You can see it started in Temple City, and we saw that
Go ahead,
25
Philip.
miles an
Well,
hour.
I wanted to let you know that President Trump has said Charlie Kirk has died. So that is
I'm
the,
waiting for the
breaking
excitement.
news that we are
Waiting
likely
for the
about
excitement.
to have with ABC News. He was shot in Utah at a college there. We've been talking about that throughout the afternoon here. You
Rob. And this TMZ story is important for several reasons. One, because it's in California and Los Angeles. Two, it's a pretty large media establishment that influences the entire nation. And three, it's a perfect microcosm of the big picture of the entire media apparatus here in California. Even at the local level, they cover up for the Democrats, for the liberal establishment in the state. The only news network that I have found, because I used to live in Los Angeles, I also lived in the Bay Area, and now I live in the Sacramento area, and KCRA, Sacramento, is the only somewhat unbiased, partially honest news network I have found in California. But even then, they cover up and don't tell the full story of a lot of what's going on in Sacramento with these politicians and corruption and lies and money laundering going on in this state. I wasn't really sure how this YouTube thing was going to go. I've been wanting to do it for years, and I decided to take the plunge a couple months ago. I was gonna give myself 6 months to a year deadline to see what happens. But now I will make a promise to myself, to my family, to Charlie, and to God, my Lord and Savior. I will not stop. I will keep fighting. Even if I'm never monetized, even if this video gets 0 views and the rest of my videos get 0 views, I will continue to shout from the mountaintops, even if it's into an empty void. I will not stop. I will continue to fight for this state because this is the den of the vipers. This is the snake pit. This is where it all starts. Charlie Kirk went into the belly of the beast, the universities, enemy territory, unafraid, courageous, respectful, kind, loving. I wish, at my age, I was half the man he was. Because of my job, I cannot show my face, and that's why I have a faceless channel. But I will continue to make content. I will continue to put out videos. I will continue to fight the corruption, the evil, the lies. Even in my own channel with 70 subscribers, I've been called a pedophile, a child abuser, a groomer, a propagandist, a Christian fascist, a Christo-fascist. I wish I saved those comments, but I reported them and they get automatically removed. Even with my 70 subscribers, I got those messages and comments. I cannot imagine what others are getting. I can't even imagine what Charlie Kirk was getting. So with that being said, that doesn't make me want to stop. That inspires me. If he can do it with what he was getting and receiving, what his family was going through, it's nothing on my end. I'm a nobody. I'm just a small YouTuber, one man doing this on top of his full-time job, trying to make a difference in a state that I can't leave. So while I'm here, I'm going to fight until my very last breath and until I cannot fight any longer.
I just want to say I'm a transgender male. What age should kids be able to get things like hormone therapy? Because I don't know what's true, what's not.
Tell me, are you comfortable telling me your story?
I've known that since like 3rd grade, and I'm currently 19, almost 20. I have known basically since then. I didn't start going by like a different name until 7th and 8th grade. I just don't know, like, with the whole medical stuff, like what's true, what's not, what's helpful, because I've heard so many different opinions.
First of all, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm going to have an opinion that very few people will ever tell you, which is I want you to be very cautious putting drugs into your system in the pursuit of changing your body. I instead encourage you to work on what's going on in your brain first. I think what you need first and foremost is just a diagnosis. Just someone that is going to listen to what you've gone through, listen to what else is going on. My prayer for you, and again, very few people will say this, I actually want to see you be comfortable in how you were born.
Yeah.
I know that you might not feel that way, but I think that is something that you can achieve. I think that with the right team and the right people, you don't have to wage war on your body. You can learn to love your body.
I'm a gay conservative, and I just want to kind of ask you, like, what do you have to say for people like me who kind of feel like, I guess, it's kind of hard for gay conservatives because there's not a lot of us. So, like, what do you have to say to other gay people who need to realize, like, they do have a choice?
Yeah, first of all, welcome to the conservative movement. I don't think you should introduce yourself just based on your sexual attractions.
No, I agree. I like
because that's not who you are.
I like to be thought of as a person, and
for sure, you are a complete human being, and I'm sure you treat people well, and you're studying something. So I want to get away with this idea that you're gay anything. I just think that we have gone a long way in the negative direction in this country, where we act as if the most important part of your identity is what you do in the bedroom. It doesn't mean that much to me, but if you ask from a perspective as a Christian, I don't agree with that lifestyle, but politics is about addition and multiplication. I imagine you agree with a lot of what we talk about.
Absolutely.
Right? Strong borders, strong country, and for that, we welcome you into the conservative movement.
Thank you.